All right, this is just going to be a real quick video to talk about. Several videos back we talked about logical expressions, and I just wanted to show by demonstration that we can perform a logical expression on a vector, and that will give us a what sometimes is called a logical vector. So let's look at our primes vector that I had in the last video. So there's a whole bunch of them. Now, now you can see that first element is 163. And if you remember from the logic video, we can say things like, well, 163 is greater than, or let's say less than 250. And that's going to be true, right? Because 163 is less than 250. So what if we say primes less than 250? What's going to happen? Because obviously the vector itself isn't less than 250 because it's not really a number. It's a list of a bunch of numbers. And are we going to look at the sum or are we going to look at the average? Well, actually it's going to do exactly the same thing as when we say something like a vector, plus 5. It goes through every single element of the vector and evaluates your expression on each element. So it's going to say, if I say primes less than 250, it's going to say, is 163 less than 250? True. Is 191 less than 250? True. So on each element that is, that meets the requirements, it's going to say true, and then it's going to say false for the ones that don't. So now what we have here is a logical vector that basically, if we were to line it up, like if I was going to overlay this vector right on top of the other one, the primes vector, we would the values would line up on each element, saying like this one's true, this one, all the way over here, which was what, 1, 2, 3, 4. So our first element that's not less than 250 is 313, which is right there. Unfortunately, these tables don't have the same number of columns, so they don't actually line up. But if we were to print this whole thing out in one line, then they would line up. So you can say, basically, it's a logical vector that says true or false for the corresponding element in the original vector, whether it meets this requirement or not. That's all I want to say about logical vectors. But we're going to come back to this again when we talk about indexing.